going to cost you. It's going to cost you to change your way of living, change your attitude, change your outlook. You know, what's the old cliche? Only one thing's got to change, and that's everything.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Start the Conversation. I'm your host, Dalton. I am the Director of Experiential Programming here for Resolutions Healthcare in our inpatient facility, Hidden Oaks, located in Chatfield. And today we're coming with a client's journey story, a client's journey podcast. And we're going to talk to one of our current clients who is with me in the studio today. And we're just going to hear a story, see what we can pick out of it, and see what hope can be found. If you like this content, please hit that like, leave us a comment, start a conversation with us, and let's hop right into it. So joining us today, we have Tracie. How you doing, Tracie?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Did a little wilderness therapy this morning. Got out there to watch one of our other clients start their fire for their graduation, and then ate a light lunch.
It was delicious.
It wasn't too heavy. It was good. And then come up here and do a little podcast, get back to groups. So, as we were talking about before, I just want you to share your story with us today, wherever you want to start.
Yeah, my name is Tracie. I am 43 years young.
Young, yeah.
Well, I've been 22 for 22 years. And this is my second go round here at Hidden Oaks. I was back here in July, did my first stint, and then went back. And I liked it so much I had to come back second time. But no, I was born in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Oh, you speak Spanish? No. I thought after Breaking Bad, everybody would know. New Mexico's a state.
Yeah.
And it actually touches Texas.
Yeah.
But I moved to Texas, native Texan, when I was 3. I grew up as an only child, and in my opinion, that should be a legitimate personality disorder. You should be able to collect disability for that. Growing up as an only child, with an over-strict mom and an over-loving dad. They're still together to this day, happily. I have 2 kids.
I don't know how to take that. You did the finger quotes on happily.
Yeah, well, they're the reason I haven't been married in 43 years, I think. They don't make it look fun, but they made it last. Okay. So it's rare.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I have 2 kids. My son is 22. My daughter's 13, going on 30. I had I wanted for nothing. I grew up, in the same house my whole life in Flower Mound, Texas, and raised with upper middle class, plenty of money. Never, whatever I wanted, I got. One Christmas, I didn't get a trampoline, but I got my waterbed instead. My dad went behind my mom's back. They almost got divorced over that. I straight A student. Wanted to go to vet school. So I learned Latin and did all the sciences and was going to go to Texas A&M. My first passion was physics. And I went to, my first country setting was Stephenville, Texas.
Okay.
Bleed Purple. Hey, Oscar P. But I fell in love with it. I learned a 2-step. I was the merch seller for Country Western Band. We toured around for a while. I had the time of my life. And played softball from the time I was 6 until, today still, adult leagues. But fast pitch wasn't around yet, so it was always slow pitch. I had 1 no-hitter and 1 perfect game. Slow pitch, that's difficult to do. My dad was always my coach, so I was coach's daughter, daddy's girl. We went skiing every spring break and every Christmas in New Mexico. And I took my son. We had a blast. I learned how to ski backwards when I was teaching him how to ski. My daughter and we're still going to go. But God doesn't give you what you can't handle. And so I had a perfect, easy go in 40 years, never had to try hard for a job. I got my degree in biology, my bachelor's from the University of North Texas in Denton. Sure. And because I got pregnant when I was 20. I had my 21st birthday. Pregnant. I got to buy the alcohol. I just couldn't drink it. And then I had to decide between vet school and mother. So I said, I've already done enough science. Let me go ahead and do biology with a minor in math and physics. So I became an accountant with my biology degree. When people say, what do you do for a living? I do math. But I really enjoy the biological aspect of things. But like I said, God doesn't give you what you can't handle. So the first 40 years of my life were easygoing, so easygoing. The only issue I really had was kind of my parents don't do mental health issues. Let's get over it, eat an apple, you'll be fine. And addiction is a choice. Get over, just you can just quit anytime. What's wrong with you? But that's what made it when I finally got to the point I needed help. That made it hard to ask for help. But when I was 40, it was 2019, I guess 2020, and I caught COVID, like everybody else. And like some people, I lost my smell and taste for a couple of weeks. When I got my taste back for a couple of weeks later, but then about 4 months later, I finally got smell back, and it was all the same smell. And it made everything taste the exact same.
Yeah.
And people don't really realize how traumatizing that can actually be. You know, it's like losing a scent. You're losing two senses. And things like laundry detergent all smell the same to me, and they all stink. You know, your favorite thing, getting in bed and in your pillow, smelling that fresh, clean sheets. No, I hate it. Let the dogs roll around in it first. And then shortly after that, I don't like to use some of these words. I was the victim of a sexual assault. I like to say I was the unwilling participant in some illegal fondling.
There you go.
That's what it was. So I don't like the R word. And I forgave the guy pretty quick, but the justice system hurt me more than he ever did. They forgot about me. I was put on the back burner. It took 3 years to finally convict the guy and got 8 years probation. So during that time, those 3 years, I also lost 3 out of 5 dogs. I had to put them down. And I decided to self-medicate. I couldn't get the emotional support from my family, so I decided to self-medicate. And I, whenever you first started treatment, everybody's like, what's your DOC? What's your drug of choice? It's so taboo. Oh, that's a cocaine. No, I smoke crack. I'm free. I feel much freer about saying that now. It's not such a stigma in my mind. But that was my escape. And I had done it back in my teenage years, very briefly. And I had smoked pot. And anything I picked up and did for 6 months, 9 months, I could just put down and move on. Because I hadn't really had anything traumatic in my life happen, I think, that I wanted to run away from. And so everything that most people go through at life was jammed into these 3 years. And I didn't handle it well. I handled it the wrong way, and I didn't have the emotional support, and I really didn't know how to turn to people, Quit that crying crap. That's what I heard growing up.
Yeah.
And so then I got arrested once. 41? Yeah, 41 in jail for my first time, for my first mugshot, And
That 2 years ago.
3.
3 years ago?
2021, we're 25, almost 26 now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're about to have to start changing the numbers on our checks. I could write checks.
So, but up until a few years ago, 21, up until 2021, you dabbled in
recreational
teenage parties, but never seen it as an issue, never, never, I don't know, never what some people would call an addict.
Right. Yeah. I got one for when my son was about 1. I did it for a couple months, just cocaine. And I got tired of it real quick. I said, no, being a mom is more fun. So for 19 years, I didn't do anything except, smoke pot. But
and then COVID, rough 3 years, losing dogs. You went through a terrible, traumatic incident. Felt like the justice system failed you, and I would say they did too. And that's where you chose to self-medicate.
And I was in so much denial, sitting there in jail, your first mugshot, okay, hold on just a minute, and this is the expectation versus, reality. No, Debbie, I wasn't high. They took my picture right before sneeze,
Yeah.
And so while I was really grueling. Actually, I actually had a lot of fun in jail. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was because it wasn't nearly as bad as I had made it out to be in my mind, because I had no idea what it was like. Like, are you a murderer? No. Are you a murderer? No. Where are all the murderers? There's no murderers. And in the shower, and nothing happens.
I
You know,
You're
fine, I'll
definitely
get
that
the
person.
soap. I'll get the soap myself. So I decided while I was in there that I needed help, but I had been diagnosed clinically with major depressive disorder and anxiety and agoraphobia, which I would not work. It's terrible, terrible. Most people think of it as fear of leaving the house. Book definition is it's fear of having a panic attack in public, but it makes it very, very difficult to leave the house. Once I'm out of the house, fine. That's why you've never seen that side of me.
Yeah.
But it takes me 30 minutes to just get in the shower. And that's rare, but I found out a lot of people have that issue. The water will be cold before you could finally get in, and it's nothing about being undressed or anything. It's just walking through a door, I think.
Huh.
And I missed an entire ceremony and a third of my best friend's wedding reception in the fetal position on my bathroom floor, just rocking, having a panic attack. So I wouldn't, I say I wouldn't wish it on my baby dad. I mean, my worst enemy. It's terrible. And it's actually the only phobia. Now, if you file for disability, all phobias fall under the anxiety category, except now agoraphobia is its own separate disability because it's that debilitating.
Wow.
You can't even work from home. You can't even go out to the computer. You can't even get into the computer room to get on your laptop.
Yeah, you're just paralyzed.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I went to a mental health facility. And that TV does not lie about that. I thought, oh yeah, right, it's not going to be that bad. No, it was that bad. It was crazy. Nuts. And so, it didn't help that I again was in such denial of my addiction that it was 20 minutes from my drug dealer. I was having him drop off baggies in a probably shouldn't say the brand names, in a McCloudles bag. And smoking it in the bathroom at this place. So I got back out, obviously was still smoking crack, and
Didn't help you at all.
it did. Well, yeah, it did. Because they did go into a lot of things. Like, I wanted to talk about my sexual assault. I said that could trigger someone. Well, what am I here for? If I can't get closure on some things. But they were more about the money. But whenever we had peer-led things, there was a couple of things that really sunk deep and made me. I was there. I was willingly there with an open mind. And so I did listen and I did take things into account, but also they were also about medicating you as well. So that could, that's not, you can't have revelations without a clear head.
Right. Yeah.
So it's probably not the best place for a drug addict to go take a bunch of new drugs. So I got arrested the second time. And then I was on, then I finally, I was in a program, diversion program with the courts, mental health treatment court, and got caught trying to fake a P test.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I realized, you know what, I think I have a drug problem. Yeah. And my daughter, who was 12 at the time, her dad hadn't been in her life the whole time, and I guess he had found out, I'd had this kind of legal trouble. He got a lawyer. They saw, just with the two dirty UAs, they got a temporary restraining order against me and my daughter. They took her away in a cop car. They took me away just for one night for the falsified drug test. And so, and by this point, I've done things I never would have thought I would have ever said out loud, or, that it wasn't a made up story. I filed for bankruptcy. I had lost my truck to repossession. Title Max. You do not get your title back from Title Max. That is a lie. Don't believe it. And my son moved out because he was older and wiser and tough love. He was the only one in my family that had tough love. My parents still had no idea I was even close to drugs. They thought I was I lost my job of 11 years as an accountant.
Due to using.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the agoraphobia.
Yeah.
The agoraphobia came first, but the crack certainly didn't cure it.
Yeah.
It just made it worse. Um, and I had been down about, I think the worst was 93 pounds. That was like 40 pounds ago. The camera has 20, right? And an extra chin?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sit up straight.
Uh, so a lot of people have been in worse situations. I didn't lose my house. I did, the restraining order went away. However, my parents got involved as a temporary injunctor to have temporary custody until this whole thing and it's just been drug out for a year. So I had supervised visitation with my kid, which, is just depressing. I mean, just full of sorrow.
Yeah.
And not fair to her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't fair to her.
Right. Yeah.
So
you got to look at both sides of the coin.
absolutely. Oh, 100%. And I think the biggest thing was my family's always been, if something goes wrong, let's talk about it with 2 sentences and then sweep it under the rug and never talk about it again. And so I was going through her text messages to her friends after she found out about drug use. And that was while I was in the mental health facility, and I'd already been using for 4 years. And that's the first anybody ever found out about it. Uh, when you're an only child, you learn to manipulate. And when the other side of the family wants to believe it, when they're in denial and don't want to think that about you. Afterwards, they're like, yeah, okay, duh, that was a stupid thing you believed, but they didn't want to believe it, and I love them for that. I enable their enabling, what I say. But I wanted to get better. I needed to get better for me so I could do better by them.
Yeah.
And so, again, I've always been able to just pick things up and put it down. So I went to another place. They were more 12-step oriented. And they just weren't, I felt more like a number than a person. They did have a curriculum and it worked. I did get to talk out a lot of issues and things like that. But what they didn't prepare me for was going out, reintegration.
Yeah.
And the relapse potential. I was going to be one of them 2%ers. One and done.
Good.
I got this.
Yeah.
No. As soon as I got home.
If you're watching this and you're thinking that 30 days is going to fix you, you're done and good, think again, cowboy. Go ahead.
31, 32. I relapsed before I left. I remember okay, I have 4 days till I can get out of here. Okay, I have 3 days and then I can go call my dealer. All right, 2 days I get to get high. So I'd relapsed before I left. Still, thinking I could quit one more time. Yeah, it's easy to say on the way to the trap house.
Yeah.
But it'll be my last time. But when you get down to that last couple of pieces, shit. What do I need to pawn now?
Yeah.
So I started looking into different kind of facilities and stopped looking at just their accommodations. I'm kind of a accommodation snob. I like the rooms and stuff. Well, those can be manipulated, by the way. So I started looking at my daughter's suggestion at Yelp reviews. She said, if you'd looked at the Yelp reviews in the first place, and well, you guys had me at Wilderness Survival. And I thought, oh, please actually be part of the curriculum, and it was. It really was. And I haven't done a lot of these things ever before. I've just watched
You're good.
Okay, Survivor and Naked and Scared. And I've always thought I can't be away from my kids long enough to do that, but I always wondered if I could. And I just love it.
And now you're learning skills to go out there.
See somebody naked running through here?
Oh, well, naked and afraid somewhere else. Not in treatment.
But you can see the stars at night. I remember back in Stephenville with the no light pollution, looking up at night and just hearing the donkeys bray and being able to see all the stars. And that's what you get out here. And it's far, and the ducks and the dogs. And it's just, I saw a woodpecker today. I watched a woodpecker for about 30 minutes.
Nice.
And he let me get real close to him. And he wouldn't come to me though. And so I came and I thought I got this when I get out. And then more stuff started happening with the family court. And I just almost said, F it, what's the point? And so I relapsed for the last time. And so I decided to come see you guys for the holidays. And so here I am, and I haven't had a more positive outlook in a very long time. The first time you have a good day, it's kind of sad and depressing, but I forgot what you forgot what it felt like to feel happy.
Mm.
When you've had that moment of happiness, and it's just like, damn, been a long time since I felt that.
Yeah.
That's sad, but I don't want to lose it. And with I've been doing a lot of things with victim impact services.
Mhm.
I'm going to be on their victim impact panel. So some of the accused get sentenced to come talk to, like Matt, like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, give their story. We get to give our story.
Yeah.
And they get to listen, because I always thought the only thing, then jail's not going to cure them. Just having to feel will. And they like my victim impact statement in court so much, they asked me to become part of the panel. So I always told my daughter, if I could just save one life through my experience, it'll be worth it. She goes, what's the point of just one life? Just one. And I said, well, sweetheart, let's say I'd been somebody less secure, I guess, at that time, and I did the unthinkable.
Right.
How would you feel? And you saw the little light bulb. Oh, so it's not just one person.
Yeah.
It affects a whole lot. So if I can just make a difference in one life, you know. I used to say I would go through it all over again, but
Yeah.
now that I've been down this path, it's not somebody else can do it.
Yeah.
somebody else can have that
Yeah.
burden. But God gave it to me for a reason, so I'm gonna use it.
Gotta use it.
My talents and my treasures.
Good. So you said you took your daughter's advice, looked at the Yelp reviews,
Hmm.
and that's what led you to Hidden Oaks.
Hmm.
How does Hidden Oaks help a person?
Everybody, I think, other facilities are more just a head in a bed, for one, and for two, they don't deal with emotions. They'll deal with trauma in a way. They'll have you face it, and they'll talk about 12 steps a whole lot, but it's too much preaching, as opposed to here. It's I feel you, and there's a genuine connection. I would never. There was nothing wrong with, well, not the mental, the first rehab. It works for some, but when I got here, and then on my return, it didn't feel. I wasn't ashamed. I didn't feel guilty or have my head held low. I came back with my head held high, and you guys welcomed me back with open arms and willing arms. Not,
Yeah.
or yeah, we knew that was going to happen. It was, we want to help, and you don't find that anymore. You guys work with so many different issues, not just addiction or mental, financial. You guys just really, really care, and it shows. And that, you don't find that. If you stumble upon that, you're lucky. So I got lucky.
Well, I don't know if you got lucky, but you you definitely did the research before just, oh yeah, I'll go to this place, I'll go to that place. A lot of people can. It's just like Facebook, you look at somebody's Facebook and it turns out they've been catfishing you for a year.
Hmm.
You just gotta do your research and know where you're going and what you're getting into. And um, yeah, like you said, we're not necessarily a 12-step based program. We're not really. We're based on mind, body, spirit. However that applies to you as an individual, uh, is how we want you to go about treatment. It's definitely not a cookie cutter thing. If there was one thing that worked, every treatment center would be doing the same thing. But there's not one way to do it.
Right.
That's why you gotta find your own way. You gotta make your own way.
Well, and you guys are more humanized. Like, we get to go in the refrigerator. Everybody has to go line up like you do in jail, get your tray food, and then put it here, and somebody else does the dishes. Here, I'm actually doing some life stuff.
Yeah.
I make the bed. That won't stick.
Nah.
Good luck. You do the dishes. You have assigned dish day. You guys, and just it shows that you trust your clients in a way that, instead of feeling like a criminal or, just a worthless degenerate.
Yeah.
You're a person and we believe in you.
You're a person, because everybody that works here is technically a degenerate if you want to start calling names and classifying people. You know, I tell y'all all the time that I've been where you've been. I'm just one of y'all. And then the other day I was like, oh, well, I should have specified. I told you on the porch. I said, I'm one of y'all, except I get to go home at night.
That's right.
So what daily habits or practices keep you grounded?
I don't. You see me sit here and read a book after book after book while I'm here, and I don't do that at home. I think it's kind of an escape from reality. It's kind of like an addiction, So, I can see how it can become an issue and not focusing on but it's something I need to reintegrate back into my normal life.
Right. If it's helping, it's helping.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'd rather be addicted to Stephen King than.
Yeah. If it's helping, it's helping. And then if it ever gets to a point where you're neglecting your job or your family or something like that, yeah, let's put it in check. But there's so many people that start doing stuff while they're in treatment that's helping them, and then they leave it when they walk out the gate.
Right.
No, you got to take that stuff with you. You got to keep practicing the things that keep you grounded and sober in treatment, and you got to continue those out. We have a client right now who just loves sports, loves pickleball, loves the basketball, and when he gets out, he's been accustomed to just leaving it. You got to continue those practices. You got to keep them going. What role does community play in your journey?
As an only child and an introvert and an agoraphobe, it's very difficult to find community, a comfortable community. And I love my church. Back in Louisville, they're a great group of people, and they keep your attention. Oh, I hear 13A, I only heard 13 amens. I got to start all over, So, and they do a lot of great things, for the community. I think my job as an umpire, softball umpire, that's kind of more my type, with the crude sense of humor and the spitting on the ground and whatnot. So I now know my strengths and weaknesses. I know where I can feel comfortable in a group. I've gotten that self-confidence back and know where I can excel and probably where I should stay away from because it could be more of a trigger. So being able to just sit with oneself without a cell phone, without a gaming pad, without controllers and stuff. I've gotten to learn a whole lot more about me, and that makes it easier in the real world and, drug free. I haven't been addicted like 30, 40 years like some people. So I have very, very recently had memory of my old good life that I want back, but I have to realize that if I want that back, I got to work for it.
You got to do something.
Right. Yeah. Everything's been handed to me. I always joke I had a silver spoon so far up my butt that you could see it when I yawned. So, I got to work for something. And you know what? Good. It's about damn time. It's what I would tell to somebody that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I've been treating myself as like my friend now. Instead of being so hard on myself, what would I say to my friend in this situation crying on the floor? I wouldn't tell them they're a piece of shit and that they suck.
Right.
I would encourage them and give them advice and tell them they're loved. So I'm my friend now.
You got to work for it, though.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Recovery don't come free, and it don't even come cheap. It costs. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you to change your way of living, change your attitude, change your outlook. What's the old cliche? Only one thing's got to change, and that's everything.
Yes. But so does, figure 4 deadfalls and building a fire. So.
All right. Well, we usually wrap these up with a bit of advice. So if you could sit with somebody, or if somebody's watching this right now that is struggling with addiction, struggling with the denial, what would you tell that person?
Well, you know, one thing about time is without pause, without fail, it passes. Two lovers in love, holding hands, saying those words to each other the first time, I love you. Who wish nothing more for that moment to just last forever.
Yeah.
The second ticks by, complete disregard. In that exact same second, there's a family around a hospital bed watching a loved one take that last breath. And that second goes by just as fast and keeps on ticking. Impatience, whether you're impatient, because you could do a task faster or better than someone in front of you, or impatience waiting for your drug dealer to call you back, or impatience, man, my recovery's not going fast enough. Impatience is impractical. You know, every individual second for every individual happens at the same time. Oh, there is no past or future. You can only live in the here and now. And the action that happens in every second for each person differs, but it comes and it goes away in the exact same amount of time for every single person. And if you think about it, there are 60 seconds in a minute and 3,600 seconds in an hour, 86,400 seconds in a day. I think there's 31,536 seconds in a year.
Wow.
And if you live to be 80, that's about 2.5 billion seconds. That may not sound like a whole lot, really. But if you sat here and counted 1, 2, 3, you count to 1,000 times, you'll be at 1,000,000.
Mm-hmm.
You do that another 1,000 times, and you have just spent 40 years.
Wow.
So, what you've done with the first billion seconds of your life, be proud of it, be ashamed of it. If it's gone, you can't do anything about it. So, really, what are you going to do with the next billion? Concentrate on that.
Yeah, we look back and, might not be happy with the first half of our life, but it's our choice. Do we want the second half to look like the first half?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we going to change something? Because I believe we're in complete control of our choice. We can choose to go backwards. We can choose to stay in denial and stay in our addiction, or we can choose to take a step forward. We can choose to be different. We can choose to be sober. And it's a cliche that it's one day at a time, but it is one day at a time. And if you need to slow it down to 1 second at a time, like you're talking about, it's 1 second at a time.
One foot in front of the other.
I tell people all the time that we're in control of the reset button. If we need to hit the reset button a dozen times a day to stay on track, hit the reset button, whatever that looks like. Pray, practice your breathing, just take a breath, whatever it is. Just hit that reset button and restart. Something bad happens, you get pissed off, you throw a fit, something goes wrong, hit the reset button. You ain't got to carry that with you all day, because the longer we carry it, the heavier it gets. When an addict gets weighed down, we're going to turn back to what we know worked in the past. And that was our escape. So I love that. What are you going to do with the next billion seconds? That was good.
And the only other piece of advice is you can't cry when you're laughing. So, so what? And with the joke, why did Tigger stick his head in the toilet?
I don't know.
He was looking for poo.
All right, folks. That is Tracie, and yes, she is like this from 6 a.m. to midnight. She is a live wire. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sharing your message. I know somebody out there is going to get some hope and
I hope so.
Strength from this. All right, we'll see y'all on the next one.